There we go. Welcome to Notable Approvals. I am attorney Amanda Shaffer. It's been a while since I did one of these. We've been super busy over here at the Shapiro law firm, which is, of course, a great thing. And I have a really interesting case to talk about today. Before I get to it, hi, Dval, nice to see you. Before I get to our case, just a quick reminder, make sure to like us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, wherever we are. And make sure if you like this video, if you found it informative, helpful, or you think you know someone who will, please share it as well. So let's get to the case. So today's case is about a client who is a native and citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. She has been our client for a very long time now. She married her husband, who is a naturalized U.S. citizen, also from Trinidad, in 2013. In 2016, they filed the marriage petition and the green card application together. In 2017, I accompanied both of them to their marriage interview. And everything went as planned. It went great. And at the end of the marriage interview, the USCIS officer, and I actually remember her saying this because she made a point to look. She said, "You guys have been married for more than 2 years. You're going to get a 10-year green card in the mail because I'm going to approve it." So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, if you are getting your green card through marriage, if you're married for less than 2 years at the time of if you're doing consular processing and coming into the US, the time of your visa interview, or if you're doing an adjustment of status in the US at the time of your adjustment of status interview, then you get a 2-year conditional green card. And then 3 months, within that 3-month period before your green card, your 2-year green card expires, you have to file another petition known as the I-751 petition to remove conditions on residency. Basically, you have to show the U.S. government, we didn't just get married in order to get a green card. It's a real marriage. We're still together. Here's all our proof. We're still together. You can get interviewed again, and it can take a long time to get the approval. And it's a process. It's not as bad as the first part of the process, but it's still a lot that you have to do. Anyways, so the law says that if you're married less than 2 years, you get a 2-year. But if you're married 2 years or more, it's not discretionary, meaning USCIS doesn't get to say, well, you've been married for 3 years and we believe that it's a real marriage, but we'd rather give you a 2-year green card, because they probably give everyone 2-year green cards and make everyone's case a nightmare. Hi, Tanya, thanks for tuning in. So the law actually doesn't say that they can give you a 10-year green card. It says they have to give you a 10-year green card. So the case gets approved. We get the mail. We get the green card in the mail, and we look at it, and it's a 2-year green card. And my client's like, did I miss something in the interview? Didn't we tell them it was they told us it was going to be a 10-year green card? It's like, yeah, I was there. I know this for a fact. Plus, even if she didn't say that, I know what the law is. So the first thing I did is I send the letter back to them, and I send a copy of her husband's naturalization certificate, a copy of their marriage certificate, and a copy of the interview notice date to show the interview was after the 2 years. It was almost 4, or I think it was after 4 years actually, because she even asked them about their 4-year anniversary, what they did. So I sent that all in back to the New York City field office. No response. Not a surprise, unfortunately. So we were like, what are we supposed to do? So there's a form I-90 that you can file to replace a lost or damaged green card or work permit. You can also file it to fix an error by USCIS. So this was an error by USCIS, but the downside is you have to send in the actual card. So my client had to part with her card, which even though it was wrong, she had been waiting so long for it, and anyone out there who's watching knows how it feels to finally get that green card and to have to give it back and not know when you're getting it back is tough. So we sent it back with the I-90, the form. Again, I explained it all. I even cited the law. She needs a 10-year green card. Here's the proof. They were married more than 2 years, blah, blah, blah. We wait 9 months about. And I'm laughing because I don't know what else to do. Because what do we get back? Where is it? There's one, I have an example, but I clearly didn't clear my desk for this. Okay, it says no name on it, great. But we get this in the mail, all right? Or she, I forgot if it was sent here or to her. But either way, we get this in the mail. You should know what this is if you're watching and have an immigration case. This contains either a work permit or a green card. And it's when there's a new one issued. So we open it up, and it's literally the exact same card. They just took the card we sent them and put it in this and stuck it on there. No explanation, nothing. So, again, I had a laugh, and so did our client, because it's like none of this is making sense at this point. So then what we did, whoa, something just happened on my computer. Then what we did was we contacted our congressional liaison. So that is a person in either your U.S. representative's office or your U.S. senator's office that their sole job is to communicate with USCIS. And when you run into problems like this is when they can really be helpful sometimes. Well, we did, and unfortunately, they weren't too helpful. So while this is all going on, the clock is ticking, and the 2 years are coming up. And I had said to my client previously, we might have to file the I-751. So right before we do it, I'm like, let me reach out to some colleagues, see what their suggestions are, because if we didn't file the I-751, then I don't know how she's getting her 10-year green card, and she wanted to travel back and forth and eventually apply for citizenship, and you can't with a conditional green card. And not only that, we were worried she'd get placed in removal proceedings, because if you don't file your petition to remove conditions on residency, there's a very good chance you'll be placed in removal proceedings. So after talking to a lot of people and doing a lot of research, we decided the best move was file the I-751, explain again the mistake, put in the evidence, on the exhibit list, I started with the evidence that you should not need to file this form. And then I put in the marriage evidence. So that was in 2019. 2019 we filed it, February 2019. And they had good evidence besides her conditional green card, and like I said, the evidence we submitted in the first part. We had joint bank account, rent receipts, joint cable bill, joint health insurance, 2 affidavits from family and friends, and some photographs of the couple together and with family and friends, which is a nice amount of evidence. Not just 1 month, multiple months. So we're waiting and waiting, and understandably, our client is getting restless because this whole thing is crazy. She does have the green card back, but it's expired. And yes, she can still work and travel on it, but it is very stressful when you have an expired green card to travel outside the country, even with that green paper for the I-751 receipt. In September of 2020, right in the midst of our lovely pandemic that we're kind of still experiencing, we get a request for evidence for this case, basically saying, we don't believe you have a real marriage, send us more evidence or updated evidence. Excuse me. Well, I gotta say I was worried when they sent that, and a bit surprised, because again, she shouldn't have needed to file this at all. Yet they can still question your marriage even after you get your 10-year green card. And what I mean by that is if at any time they found out that you had a fraudulent marriage, they can initiate removal proceedings and try to take your green card away. This is one of the reasons I always tell people, make sure you naturalize, because you never know what's going to happen in your life. Same thing if you get arrested. Even if you're found innocent of something, it could start removal proceedings and give you a big problem. So we get this request for evidence. I call her in, and I'm like, give me updated stuff. Give me what you got. So we submitted more of the joint checking account, showing lots of transactions, with the joint lease, and more rent receipts. I think we had submitted the joint lease they lived in the same place, so we didn't submit it again with I-751 because they have the whole file from the marriage case too. But then we submitted that, more rent receipts to show they're actually paying the rent, more joint cable bills, joint Con Ed bills, 2 years of joint taxes, 3 more letters from family and friends, and some more photographs. And we get that all in there, and then we wait. I think we got that in like December of 2020, maybe slightly later because of there's been extensions because of COVID. So finally, yesterday, get in the mail that her I-751 was approved. And I called her, and she was so happy, and so were we. And we can obviously laugh about it now, and sometimes you have to laugh when you don't know what else to do. But she did get it. She is eligible already to apply for citizenship. It hasn't been 5 years because she got it in 2017, but she's still married and living with her U.S. citizen husband. So whenever she's ready, we're going to file for naturalization. And she was just super excited because her son is getting married in Trinidad in November, and now she gets to go, and she's very excited. So this case is a really, really strange case, because there was a mistake by USCIS and we couldn't get them to fix it. And we had to make a choice. Do we risk removal proceedings and then possibly having a problem with her getting citizenship later on? Or do we just bite the bullet, file the application, file the evidence, so that worst case is they say she didn't need to do it? That's really what we were looking at. And unfortunately, with USCIS, things like this was a new one, but other little weird quirks and things that don't make sense come up all the time. And you have to make a decision of what you're going to do. And you want to do, the best choice is always do what the law says. The law says you have a 2-year green card, file this I-751, period. And I don't know what the outcome, of course, would have been had we tried the other route of keep trying to get this thing fixed and not file an I-751. But by the time we would have gone through all that, because we told her another option was refile the I-90 again, tell them what you didn't adjudicate it, you didn't do anything, fix it. But by the time we would have gotten it back, we would have already had the I-751 submitted for a number of months and have been pending, because those things, especially when we filed it back then in last year, I mean, anyone who's waiting on an I-751 knows it takes a very long time, like 1.5 years. So she didn't want to have to wait forever, and it would have just screwed everything else up. So we went with that option, and luckily it all turned out as planned. I mean, they didn't get called in for an interview, which was good, because it just was a waste of time, in my opinion. But my client, she would have been nervous, understandably, like, why don't you believe us after all of this? But they did, and they are incredibly happy, I know, and I can't wait to get my hug from her and see her and actually have her card in. We're just waiting for the card to be delivered, but it is official. That's why I can talk about it. So yeah, I mean, if you are watching, and I know someone wrote on Instagram that my case is the same, well, give us a call, send us an email. We're going to help you troubleshoot it. We're all stuck in the same place with USCIS, that we don't have a direct line to them, but we know all the right legal steps to take to fix things properly. And that's what's important here. USCIS messed up, and we did everything we were supposed to do to fix it. And in the end, she has her 10-year green card, and that's really what matters. And she is not going to have any problem traveling in and out of the country or working. So I always stress in these videos how you have to make sure everything is like, you have to like triple check everything you send to them. They don't triple check on their end all the time, which is a little frustrating, but that is because you want to avoid any mistake possible, because even USCIS makes mistakes that you have to deal with. And that is honestly why we always recommend using a lawyer for your filings from the beginning, because once something goes wrong, it may end up affecting you for years. But the good news is that if you're following the rules, there's a good chance that we're going to be able to help you out. So our contact information has been scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Please feel free to contact us. Don't forget, like us, follow us, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever we are. If you found this video helpful or know someone who will, please share it as well. I like to get information like this out there as much as possible, because I know if it happened to my client, it's happened to others as well. So that is all today for notable approvals. I got some other good cases to talk about soon. I will be back as soon as possible, but hey, I'm happy to be busy. I'm happy. It's more important to help my clients than to talk about our wins. So we'll be back soon. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.